Hello. So today I thought I'd talk you through my investment picks. Um, so I sold most of my stocks in October of last year. Had quite a lot in, probably about 40 grand. Um, and I liquidated all that when getting the house. I have about four left in there. One of them was Facebook. When they started doing the whole metaverse thing and the stock like tanked, I bought that at that time when it was low, and now it's up 300 something percent. And then the other one's Volkswagen. It's probably down a bit, but I thought that could be a good play for the future, and it might still, but that has underperformed compared to previous ones. At some point, I might go through all the ones I've had in the past. Now we're going to talk about my current pick. I recently opened up a stock pension, and that's the one that we're going to be following with all these videos. So the first one I put my money in was Disney, just because I did like a brief scan of um all the stocks I've had in the past and looked at which I thought was the best priced, and that seemed like a pretty safe option. Um, I'm gonna lean with the more money I'm gonna put in, I'm gonna lean away from that, and if the price gets right, I might end up selling that Disney. My feeling is I think they've got a good trajectory on their net income and just the general performance. My worry is that I think particularly when they started doing all that sort of woke stuff, when that started becoming popular, and as Marvel started winding it down, they took a massive dip and they went from like net income of like 12 billion, went down to like 2 billion, went down during COVID as well, of course. And now that they're on the way back up, the percentage increase in terms of sales and operating profit and net income keeps going up and up. Um, but it's sort of returning to like the 2012 whereabouts. And so if you project that into the future and go, where will that be 5 years from now based off the previous performance? You go, it looks really competitive as a stock, but is it gonna, just because it's gone up, like it's recovering from a dip, which doesn't mean that they're gonna continue, If they drop from 12 down to 2, and then they go from 2 up to 12, you can't assume that that's going to go up to 24, because it's just, there is a limit to like how much money they can make, how big the market is. Once they've got such a big piece of it, like they can't keep going forever, can they? So I do think that'll be good, but I think there are better options out there. So I'm not going to put more money into that one. My new choice, what did I go for? Can't think at the top of my head. Manchester United. I think this is a very short term play, to be honest, because I do betting as well, and they're one of my favourites in the minute. And just for disclosure, I'm a United supporter, so maybe I'm a bit biased here. But I feel like, yeah, I think financially, the people in charge, Ineos, are doing a pretty good job of tidying things up. I think they've reduced the amount of loss each year in half, and I think because the stock is so linked to the performance of the team as well as the financials, but mainly the performance on the pitch and sort of transfer decisions. I think if they manage to pull off a good transfer window, which I think they will, I think they've got Edison, and that's a done deal. And they want two more. I think they want Mateus Fernandez from West Ham, and I think Anderson. Anderson's the big one, although there's links he might end up going to City. If they can pull off two relatively big ones, if not Anderson, then maybe Wharton or what's the Chalmany, even though that's very unlikely. That's probably one of the least likely ones. If they can secure that Anderson, Wharton, or Chalmany, maybe 2 out of 3. Unlikely. I don't think that's likely. I think post transfer window, the stock will be up. Everything will be very optimistic. And then going into the start of the Prem, I think they're going to do really. I think the trend of like winning home games is going to continue. I think the squad's going to be better. We might miss Casemiro, but you know, in terms of goals, because he had like 7 goals this season. It was pretty good, but defensively he wasn't as good as he had been in previous years. He left it a bit open. We've sort of got Mainoo playing that role, sort of more sitting, which isn't really what he's good at. He's good at carrying the ball forward. So if we have Mainoo carrying the ball forward, and then like a Wharton or a Baleba or someone proper Kante type holding, actually doing that job, I think the start of the season is going to be very good. I think the drop off is going to come off once we start getting to Champions League games, and it's games every 3 days, particularly when we get close to December. So I think from now and through the start of the season, start winning games, start winning home games, looking really good, really tight. The score's going to go up, 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 up. Then when we hit Champions League time, I think they won't have the depth. So I think the goal is to sell out before we get to that point, before they start to dip in performances, because everyone's just getting tired. Because all it takes, because we've only got one Bruno Fernandes, and if we spread him too thin, I think we will see a massive problem. So I think that's the play. It's a short-term play from now until, I don't know. You have to play it by October, maybe. But yeah, I think it should be good. It all depends. The big one is the transfer window. Depends how well they do. But last transfer window, when they were going after forwards, they got Cunha, Sesko, and Mbeumo, and they've nailed that. I mean, the performance this season, like even Dorgu, who they brought in, who's fantastic as a winger. They brought him in as like a wing back, but as a winger, he is great. He is fantastic. The starter character they brought him in, he did a great performance. I think it was against City, and they beat them. And at the end of the season, they brought him again for the last game, and he was great in that one too. So the 4 people they brought in forwards have done a brilliant job. So if they do it again and bring in 2 or 3 proper solid midfielders, I think the stock will go up. And then we'll have to decide what to do in October. My fallback from Manchester United will be to put it back into Disney, unless we have something better. Volkswagen is tempting. I quite like the price, and I think it doesn't have to go up much in terms of like the sales and whatnot for the stock to be really underpriced and then rocket up in price. The only problem is, for that, you need it not to be just stagnated in terms of sales and income. You really need like a bump, an increase. And I could see that happening if the German market improves, but or if they get a better grip of the financials. But there's no signs that any of that's going to happen. So I think the Volkswagen I have in my normal account, I'll have to sit on for now. But if things improve, that might be a play for the future. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'll keep you updated if I get a new favourite or if the portfolio's up a certain amount, and we'll do an update and talk about it. Thanks for listening. See you later.